Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ali Jade. A lot of you are going to be new here because this will be the second video posted on this channel. Also, if you did just watch my last video, the reason I'm wearing the same shirt is because I'm literally filming this back to back. So, hi, hello. So it is February. It is February 11th. We're late on the TBR, but I am going to be showing you guys what I want to read and the one book I have already read this month, and I will be doing this every month, and hopefully we can get more and more books to read each month, if that makes sense. Like, not buying more books, because if you watch my last video, I do not need any more books, but we do need to actually start reading more books. I get very much in reading slumps very quickly if I read too much books at like multiple times, and then Kindle kind of saves me and brings me back, so hence why I'm on TikTok. Right, so we're going to start off. This is going to be my February TBR. So obviously you would have figured that out by the title. So we're just going to move on straight into the first book, which is the first book I have read this month. So the first book is Silent Patient by Alex. We're not even going to butcher your last name, babes. I'm so sorry. Right, so this is the first book that I have read for February. It was a mind screw and a half. Okay, the plot twist was not expecting, made me feel like I needed to go back and start the whole book over again, because I was not, and I don't know if I'm the only one, I probably am, because I have the brain cells of the turtle from Finding Nemo and the sloth from Ice Age. Those are my two brain cells. But anyway, so that was the first read of February. So now we're going to go into books that I want to read this month. So this I do really like. I don't know, I feel like it was very confusing because there are no timestamps realistically apart from the main ones. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I would read it, but I don't know how I feel about it or what I would rate this book, to be honest. So the second book that I really need to read, because I've read the first and the second. If you are coming from my last video, you already know what book I'm about to bring up, but it is Twisted Hate by Anna. Again, not going to butcher your last name, sorry babes. I've read Twisted Love, I liked it. Read Twisted Games, definitely better than the first one. I have not read this one yet. I've read the first couple of pages, but I haven't really read any more of it. As you can tell, there's no bookmark because I couldn't find it. So I'm going to have to restart it, but that's fine. So yeah, this is one of the books. Will we get to it? Yes, we will. This will be definitely one of the books I get to. So yeah. The next book on my TBR is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I have read Love Hypothesis. I really enjoyed that book. I really did. So I'm kind of excited to read this one. I'm not entirely sure what it's about exactly, if it's similar to the other one. Okay, it has something to do with NASA. Interesting. But yeah, so this is another book on my TBR for this month, for February. Again, don't know if we'll get to it, but we might, hopefully. The next one I really want to read, which I brought a while ago and I haven't read yet, but I keep seeing it all over my For You page and on people's like YouTube book hauls and books that they're reading and books that they've read, and I really want to read it. It sounds really good, but also very sad, so I don't know how I'm going to go with it. People told me I was going to cry when I read It Ends With Us. I did not. I was just pissed off the entire book. So we've got 1,000 Boy Kisses. I think the cover is adorable. I love it. Tilly Cole. Yep. So really good job on that. I love it so much. But yeah, so if you haven't heard of it, but it just basically says if your love story had ended before it really begun, which interesting. But yeah, I've heard a lot about this book, so I really want to read it. I just haven't had the grab for it, if that makes sense. Again, I've mentioned this in my last video, but I am a massive mood reader, so I will not, like, there are just books like that I can pick up and read in a day. There are books that take me days to read just because I'm not vibing. I don't DNF books. I probably should, but I don't. So there's that. But yes, this is another book on my TBR. Another one which I have read one of her books, which is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Absolutely love that book. So we have Daisy Jones and the Six. I have a lot of Taylor Jenkins reads books. I just have only read one of them. So this is another one that I really want to read. I brought it so long ago that it's not even funny, to be honest. Like I brought this probably mid 2022. I still haven't read again. A lot of my books I have, like, so this shelf here that you can see behind me, and then there's another shelf, is all brand new books. This shelf here is secondhand books. So I brought this in 2022. I still haven't read it. Anyway, so another book that I want to read this month, which again, this might be a lot of books to you guys. I have read a lot of books in general. Like, I think last year, one of the months, I read pretty much a new book every day. So I know that I can read a lot. It just depends on like what I've got going on and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I read 2 of her books already. It is Tessa Bailey. I read Fix Her Up and My Killer Vacation. I think that personally, I love her writing style and I just love her book so much. So we got It Happened One Summer. I seen a girl on TikTok talking about this and she was screaming about it. So I ended up buying it. I still haven't read it yet, but I probably should. But yeah, so this is something that I really, really want to read this month. Whether I get to it or not is a different story because I have my priority list. So my priority list is definitely Twisted Hate, and then one of the other books that I have gotten recently. So that's another book that I want to read this month. One of the ones that I brought recently, which I want to kind of get, I've read fantasy, like I've read a lot of different genres, sorry. So I've like read romance and fantasy and crime and horror and thriller and all of that kind of stuff, but I haven't really read a lot of fantasy lately. So I have 2 books that are fantasy. I believe this is fantasy. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but so from what I've heard is The Priory of the Orange Tree. If this isn't fantasy, please let me know because I don't want it on my TBR if it's not fantasy, because it's just something that I really want to read this month if it is fantasy. Otherwise it will go back on the shelf until I have finished other fantasy reads, if that makes sense. This is another book that's on my TBR. The other fantasy book that I'm 95% sure is fantasy is Babel or Babel. I really want to read this one. It sounds amazing. I have seen so many people who like a lot of the books that I read and they've read this one. They're like, it's amazing and they love it. So this is another one that I am really wanting to read. So it is on my February TBR. Anyway, so the last 3 books are a series and I really, really want to read these ones because I finally got the last book in the series. It is the Dreamland Billionaire series. So The Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and The Final Offer. So these will be on my TBR until I finish them. So if I don't get to them this month, they will be on next month and the month after and the month after that. So yeah, so this is so far what I want to read, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's all of the books for February TBR. I will come back at the end of the month and I will go through all of the books, what I rated them, what I liked, what I didn't like, and then next month at the very beginning we will do our March TBR. We'll just keep doing that as well. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give me a like if you want to, and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Anyway, so yeah, so that's going to be it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time with I don't know what yet, but we'll work it out. Anyway, stay happy, stay reading. Bye!